Arsenal will not pay the release clause of 100 million euros for Viktor Gyokerez. Allegedly, Arsenal have reached an agreement for the player for 90 million euros with Sporting Lisbon. When including all variables, including goals and participation in the UEFA Champions League, Arsenal will pay a maximum of 120 million euros. Welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news. We're diving into the latest around the club. Lots of stories about Viktor Gyokerez. Lots of stories around Nico Williams. Fabrizio Romano this morning has just confirmed that Arsenal and Liverpool have already contacted Bilbao, and they've already contacted Nico Williams' agents. Talks have been held between Arsenal and the interest of the player for a potential transfer this summer. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Transfers are starting to lighten up a little bit. They're trying to loosen up a little bit. We're getting more information from credible sources around very exciting talents. We'll talk about Michael Olise. We'll talk about Xavi Simons. Olise going to Bayern. Of course, Arsenal missing out on that one. And Xavi Simons, Arsenal are tussling it out with Leipzig and Bayern for the services of the Dutch international. How about that? Let's get into it. Let's start off with the big story from Portugal, confirming there that Arsenal will not pay the 100 million euros release clause of Viktor Gyokerez, but the deal has been structured in a way that Arsenal will now pay 90 million euros in fixed fees, and that will be increasing to 120 million euros should the player participate, or should the player play well in terms of Arsenal's Champions League runs, but also in terms of the number of goals scored. This article also says that the players already agreed to play for Arsenal, and there is an agreement between Arsenal and Viktor Gyokerez's camp. So we're just waiting for a few financial details to be ironed out, and Arsenal will have their player. Now, of course, Leon Opt did come out with a story yesterday saying that Arsenal and Lisbon were very close to agreeing a deal. Now they're coming out and saying that they have agreed a deal for 90 million euros in terms of fixed fees, and a couple of 30 million euros on top if the player does well at Arsenal. Like I said yesterday, I'm gonna say it in the same way. I think if this deal was this advanced, I think David Onstein will have picked up on it. I think Fabrizio will have picked up on it. Fabrizio is a tap-in merchant, one of the best tap-in merchants, in the world of football. And again, he's one of the most credible sources. Never forget that. Always respect his name, Fabrizio. One of the most respected, names, in the world of football. So for me, if Fabrizio has not collaborated this story, it's because of one or two reasons. One, it is not true. Secondly, it is still very, very early. Arsenal have not agreed a deal for the player with Sporting Lisbon. And maybe Arsenal are just making early contact for the player with Sporting Lisbon. I appreciate that Arsenal want him. I appreciate that all these sources in Portugal are coming out to break the story fast. But we are not really well versed with your stories. We are not well versed with their journalism. We are more well versed with The Athletic. We are more well versed with Ghana Blog. We are more well versed with James McNicholas and David Onstein. So at the moment, I wouldn't really say that Arsenal have agreed 90 million euros to sign this guy. Again, when I think about it, not paying that release clause, at 100 million, and then agreeing a 90 million euro deal, that sounds a little bit fishy. That sounds a little bit far-fetched, in my opinion. But this is what I would agree to. I think Arsenal have already talked to Viktor Gyokerez. I think there is an agreement between Arsenal and the player. Should Arsenal agree a deal for Viktor Gyokerez, personal terms will not be an issue. I think Gyokerez is not stupid. He's looking at this Arsenal project. He's looking at Mikel. He's looking at what we're doing with young players and the direction of this team, and he wants to be part of it. He wants his own part of piece of the cake, piece of the pie. So I don't think that Viktor Gyokerez would refuse to play for Arsenal. I don't think that he would refuse to agree personal terms with us unless we are offering him very, very small wages, which I don't think. Again, I don't think Arsenal are offering small wages this summer. In the recent 2 summers we have seen Kai Havertz big wages, Gabriel Jesus big wages, Declan Rice big wages, Saka big wages, Odegaard, Saliba. All these players are getting the right amount of money. They deserve the right amount of money. A top professional should be paid from a top footballing institution. So I think Gyokerez personal terms, no problem. Gyokerez agreeing to play for Arsenal, no problem. The problem is still with the deal between Arsenal and Sporting. I don't think it is this. I don't think it is this advanced, and I don't think it would be this advanced. And the Athletic, and also the likes of Sami Makpo, the likes of the Sun, they wouldn't know. But one thing I want to say, as much as we disrespect all these sources from other countries, we also have to agree that Arsenal signing Fabio Vieira from Portugal, that story was not broken by Fabrizio Romano. That story was not broken by David Stein. That story was broken by an outlet called Abola in Portugal. And this is what I'm trying to say. Again, the moment Abola broke that story, it was quickly collaborated by David Stein. It was quickly collaborated by James McNicholas, and it was quickly collaborated by Fabrizio Romano. And I think by that time it was Romano who jumped onto the wagon fast before Stein. Can't remember. I think there will be something, right? There will be signs. If the next week ends and we don't see anything on Viktor Gyokerez from the big boys, it's no deal. But I will still believe that Arsenal have the green light from the camp of the player to go on and negotiate a deal with Sporting Lisbon. Fabrizio Romano this morning has come out and said, again, kind of reinforced what he said yesterday, that several clubs have asked for information on Nico Williams in the recent months, even before the Euros. Among those clubs is Arsenal, and he also says that Chelsea had him in the shortlist already last summer, but they decided to sign Cole Palmer. Arsenal and Liverpool have already discussed the player a few months ago. Barcelona keep Nico in their shortlist, and that doesn't change as well. So for me, when it comes to Nico Williams, I'm surprised that every single day we get a new bit of information from a very reliable source, from a very credible from a very credible outlet. I think Nico Williams right now is the most credible story Arsenal are running. The Athletic are running the same story. Fabrizio is running the same story with the same amount of credible information, with the same amount of relatable information. Arsenal, having talked to the agents and entourage of Nico Williams at this point in time, means absolutely so much. It means very, very much. Now, of course, Nico Williams and Xavi Simons, these are deals that Arsenal are going to progress on after the Euros. You cannot do anything before the Euros. One, these are deals that are heavily dependent on the player's decision. If Xavi Simons and Nico Williams choose to play for Arsenal, definitely Arsenal will go ahead and press and get them. If they decide to play for Barcelona or Bayern, then those clubs will go ahead and get them. But why it is very important that Arsenal have already talked to the entourage of the player, why it is very important that we already have information on this deal at this point in time, it is a release clause. It is a stupidly cheap release clause of 58 million euros. Come on, guys. Like, this is a bargain. This is a no-brainer. And I'm really, really impressed with Edu. I'm really impressed with Arsenal, with what we have done in terms of just go there, put yourself in front of everyone, just get ahead of everyone in this deal. It's a deal that I can see Arsenal doing. It's a deal that I can see Arsenal eventually ending up with this summer. So Arsenal have him in their shortlist. Barca have him. Chelsea have him. And a couple of other clubs, including Liverpool. And all of them have spoken to the player and his entourage in recent months. Now, for me, I think Arsenal are around number 2 in this deal. I would still give a lot of priority to Barcelona. I would still give a lot of priority to Atletico Bilbao to keep him, although it is a very, very difficult deal now for them. A player who has a 58 million euro release clause, having lit up at the Euros, it's going to be very difficult for Atletico Bilbao to keep him. But the one club that I would look at in my side mirror, over my shoulder, it's Liverpool. He wants to go to Barca, and he wants to stay in Spain. So let's give Barcelona 40% of the vote. The other 60% will be split between Liverpool and Arsenal. Why Liverpool are very important in this deal and why they have a lot of power, they have a lot of points in their negotiation bag. One, they could sell to him the dream of replacing Salah. or even Mane. I mean, depending on what Ancelotti wants to do. He might be among the few managers' buys, right? So as Liverpool look to strengthen, they look to rebuild under Ancelotti. I mean, Ancelotti could give him a call and tell him, listen, I've come to Liverpool. I found a few players here and there, and I like them. But I also want my own boys. I also want players I can call mine. And you among those players that I want to call mine, right? So Nico Williams, Liverpool, keep your eyes on that one. Nico Williams to Arsenal, keep your eyes on that one. It's gonna be a very interesting battle. Where would he go? Liverpool or Arsenal? I'm gonna say this. If I'm Nico Williams, I would go to Arsenal, right? If I'm Nico Williams, I would go to Arsenal. They have a stable project, stable manager, and a footballing philosophy that is very close to that of of Del Fuente at Spain. So switching from Bilbao to Spain in the Euros to Arsenal, that wouldn't be as difficult as switching from Bilbao to Spain to whatever Ancelotti is going to build at Liverpool. We don't know what's going to build at Liverpool because he's got a few raw materials that he has to work with. So for me, I think Arsenal would be the better destination for him. However, it's not a guarantee that he's going to choose Arsenal. I don't think it's a guarantee that he chooses Arsenal, right? But Liverpool, Barcelona, and a couple of other clubs have asked for information on Nico Williams, and I will keep you posted. Now, in Germany, and we're going to talk about Xavi Simons on this as well. In Germany, according to Florian Plattenberg, one of my really, really trusted sources when it comes to German football, you can see there, Plättigol, Florian Plattenberg. He says Bayern Munich management is now open to selling Kimmich, 20 years of age, 29, this summer, as he's one season remaining on his contract, and it is unlikely to be extended. This is an embarrassment. There are 5 clubs that have registered tangible interest in Kimmich. Madrid, he's definitely not going there. Barcelona, that's a massive shout. Manchester City, don't see him go there. Liverpool, that's a massive shout. And Arsenal. So, let's talk about it. Florian Plattenberg, my boy, you have delivered once again. Thank you so much. He works for Sky Sports Germany, by the way, if you didn't know. Florian Plattenberg. So Florian Plattenberg says Bayern signing Palhinha. That is 90% done. Signing Olise, who we'll talk about, that is 90% done. Signing Xavi Simons, they are leading the rest. So therefore, with all those midfield reinforcements, Bayern are looking to let go of Palhinha. Sorry, of Kimmich. Go and do this deal, Arsenal. We signed Thomas Partey at 27 years. He was around 27, 28, 29, 30, right? He was around 28. Go and get Joshua Kimmich. This is a good deal. Now, obviously, he's not saying Arsenal have agreed personal terms with Kimmich. So I don't want you to be in the comment section below. Bring him on. Bring in Kimmich. Give me Kimmich. It's not yet there. But Arsenal have registered tangible interest in Joshua Kimmich. That's all I need to know that my club is serious. That's all I need to know that my club is very serious this summer. You know, with Joshua Kimmich, this is what I want to say. With Joshua Kimmich, right? With Joshua Kimmich, we are talking about experience, talent, pedigree, winner, and the rest is history. If Spain don't win the Euros this summer, I want Germany to win it. If Germany don't win it, I want Italy. Obviously, Italy don't stand a big chance against the likes of Portugal and France. So I've got to back Germany and Spain all the way. But Kimmich is such an asset on the market. Kimmich is such a joke. He can't be available. Kimmich cannot be available. Kimmich is one of the players like, how is he available? Kimmich would be like Bastian Schweinsteiger joining Manchester United back in the day. That's the kind of deal we are talking about. Owen Hargreaves-esque kind of deals. That's the kind of deal we're talking about. So go and get it done. Anyway, I mean, I think he would look to move to Barca before Arsenal. and he looked to move to Liverpool under Anslot before Arsenal. Because again, when he thinks about this Arsenal midfield, he's thinking about Declan Rice there, and maybe he's not sure he starts. But for me, he starts right away, even with Partey in the team. Kimmich starts in that midfield, and we will be cooking. Xavi Simons and Nico Williams deals. Those are two deals that are expected to progress after the Euros. Williams will see whether it is tilting in favor of Arsenal. But according to Florian Plattenbach, he says that Bayern are very confident on Xavi Simons, although there is stiff competition from RB Leipzig and Arsenal. So let's wait and see after the Euros how those two deals progress. I want to talk about Michael Olise, guys. I want to talk about, just give me a moment. Let's talk about Olise, man. How is it going to Bayern? How is Michael Olise going to Bayern? Now, when I looked at the wages, I knew Arsenal were never going to pay 220k to Michael Olise to come in and be a kind of a backup to Saka. It hurt me. That deal broke me because I never wanted him to go to Chelsea. I never wanted him to go to Man United. But Michael Olise, man, going to Bayern. We're going to meet him in the Champions League once again. We're going to meet him in the Champions League. Bayern are going to be cooking. They're taking Palhinha. They're taking Olise. They're taking a few players that you don't know that are playing in Germany. They're taking Jonathan Tah. Bayern are going to be cooking, man. Anyway, Olise doesn't join Arsenal. Goes to Bayern. Guess we'll see him in the UEFA Champions League. Guess we will. See you right in the next one, guys.